Yeah.
Do you think he's the GOAT? And before anyone gets offended, I'm not talking about the animal, the GOAT, but the greatest of all time.
Oh, god damn it. I know.
Because now you're going to offend people if you say
I'm
no.
going to offend. So, do you want me to do the introduction?
Yeah.
But maybe you should learn it as well. Now I did.
Yeah, okay.
Now I did it last time. So, and you're the one who has prepared for this episode. I haven't.
Okay.
So, we are rolling. Let's go, Hans. I'll hand the introduction over to you, sir.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this Badminton podcast, the Badminton Experience, our second episode. On my left, the one and only Antonsen. Anders, welcome.
Thank you very much, Hans. Thank you for letting me in my own apartment.
I was just about to say it feels a little bit strange saying welcome to someone who actually lives here. So, but yeah, welcome anyway.
Thank you very much.
I'm of course Hans Christian Wittinghus, and we are quite excited to welcome you back on this episode.
But we're not in a really good mood, to be honest, Hans.
That's true.
For a lot of reasons. I think first of all, you should explain why you are wearing a Danish football jersey.
Yeah, my sponsor is not going to be happy, so we should maybe block this one out. But yeah, I'm wearing this shirt because we just watched the football, the European Championships. Denmark played Belgium. And yeah, we are not happy because Denmark... we actually played pretty well, I think, but yeah, we lost 2-1.
They played a good match, but we had money on Denmark, and we lost it all. So yeah, it's a little bit rough right now during this episode, right after a big disappointment like that.
Yeah.
And then on a more serious note, starting out with Christian Eriksen a few days ago, one of the star players from the Danish team. Fell to the ground because of a heart attack during the match. Luckily, he's okay now, right?
He's gonna get they call it an ICD operated into his heart actually, which is some sort of a pacemaker to make sure that it doesn't happen to him again. But yeah, he's feeling good and he's healthy, and I'm sure everyone who's watching this show also read about the story, right?
Yeah, it's gone viral, so yeah, I guess everyone knows about it. It's yeah. But
yeah, what was really, really scary for us was that then was it 1 day later, 2 days later, we heard about the sad news of Marcus Keto from Indonesia, who sadly passed away at age 36, and it was basically from the exact same situation. He was doing sports, he was just playing badminton, fell on the ground with a heart attack as well, and unfortunately, even though he also got first aid straight away, he didn't make it. So that was just shocking for us as well. And as I said, he was 36, I'm 35, and Christian Eriksen 29. So it's just crazy to know that life is so fragile and it can it can end in an instant, right?
Yeah, it's horrible news, and twice in a row it's devastating for sure. And our condolences go out to Marcus Keto's family and everyone who is near him. It's horrible. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah, definitely same for me. All my thoughts for his family and everyone that's left behind.
Yeah, so that was a kind of a sad note to start off with, but I'm happy that we got to mention it.
Should we just briefly mention that? I know I said that we are the Badminton Experience, and we're gonna keep on going with that name. We asked for all your suggestions in the first episode, and we got a lot of good ones. The Badminton Hour was a good one.
Can I just mention some of the...
Yeah, you wrote a few.
I read all the comments and I read all the different suggestions. Some of my favorites was Beyond the Shuttle. I like that one.
Good one.
The Badminton Hour, also a great one. But my favorite here, Clown and Dad.
Clown and Dad.
Clown and Dad. And I assume that since you are a dad, it's pretty obvious that you are the dad. And
I think it's more obvious that you're the clown.
And then I'm and then I'm the clown. I like that one too. But no, we have decided to stick to the badminton experience. But it was a tough one to decide, because there were definitely a lot of great suggestions in the comment section. So thank you very much for that, guys.
But we need your help for something else.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
We need a name for our new mascot.
Yeah,
it's a bear, and it's not just a regular bear. It's a bear that can actually stand on its feet. But hey, it can also make a handstand like that. Yeah. It makes no sense for us to have this as a mascot, but it was in Anders' apartment, so I thought, why not put it on the table? And we have not given it a name yet. So this time we promise that we will actually choose one of the names that you guys suggest, right?
Yeah, we will for sure, because we don't have a name for him yet. He was just standing here in the window, so I think he was on the first episode.
He probably was. Yeah,
I think he was. So he's on the second episode as well, and he will definitely be on every episode from now on.
He's a
legend.
And
I also he's a true legend, and also decorated the table with a few shuttlecocks.
Yeah.
So there's no doubt that we are a Badminton podcast,
and also there's no doubt we are evolving all the time.
Definitely. I hope that when I move into a new apartment, that we can make a studio in the apartment, and that would be great. So maybe we should bring like shirts from different players, and
good idea.
Trophies.
Yeah, you have one actually in the background.
I have one over here.
It's a little bit arrogant, but yeah,
it's a little bit arrogant. Can you see it in the picture?
Oh, great.
Just show it right here. World Tour Finals. So it sits over here, and that's it.
All right, so I'll start winning more events as well, so I can decorate the studio.
Yeah, too. That would be nice. So I don't have to do it by myself. If you could bring something to the table, that would be great.
It's very arrogant. All right, Anders. Enough about that. Let's move a little bit further into the agenda we have here today, and we are actually looking at an agenda. It's not just a blank screen. There is actually something written down, and the first thing that we need to talk about today is how the podcast went viral last time.
It's difficult to say.
It is viral.
Went viral. It's very, very difficult.
Yeah, and if you guys watched Anna's latest vlog, you will already know why, but I think we should explain it to people anyway, right?
Yeah. Should I do that?
I think you should.
Okay.
Because you're the main reason why it did go viral.
I actually think it was your fault, because you brought up the subject.
But that's what I do.
There's something wrong with your screen. It annoys me.
Sorry. It's just Siri. Siri, shut up. Yeah.
Okay, so already on our first episode of the Badminton experience, we went viral in China, actually. So last time we had this, and I wouldn't even call it a discussion. We just talked briefly about me being a little bit slow on court in between the rallies. And then I went on and told a story about Lin Dan being maybe even more slow on court. I told that I've played him. I played him once, and I was like, okay, he might even be slower than I am. And I mean, it was just joking around, but there's also some truth to it. But yeah, some I can't even remember the name of the site, but I think it was a Weibo account with like 4 million followers.
Badminton channel or something like that on Weibo?
Might be that one. Out in China, translated that piece, and I mean, obviously I don't know exactly word for word what the article says, but it was how do you say it? They didn't took it as us just joking. They took
it as an insult to Lin Dan, actually.
As an insult, yeah, like something negative, which I mean,
of course, was not what you meant, but
no.
I think also maybe some misunderstood that we were not talking about him being slow, as in his movements are slow and he's not moving slow on court, but he's just taking a lot of time in between rallies.
Yeah.
And obviously it's also mostly in the later part of his career. When he was younger, he didn't do it the same way, but in the last 5-6 years maybe of his career, it was like that, right?
Yeah. So if you haven't seen the vlog, you don't know, but if you have seen the vlog, you know the story. I got a call from Jonas from Badminton Denmark, who is what is he?
The press officer.
Press officer from Badminton Denmark, and he was he told me about this story. Anders has went kind of viral in China, and they're not really happy about it. They are saying that it's kind of disrespectful towards Lin Dan. Do you want to apologize, or what do you want to do about it? And I was like, I mean, come on, guys. I wasn't trying to say anything negative. I don't feel like I said anything negative. It was just, I mean, it's facts, right? And there's nothing negative about, being able to control the pace of the game, whether it be during the rallies or in between rallies. I mean, if you master the pace of the game, it's a great quality, and Lin Dan, knows how to do that.
Yeah, it's actually a skill. It's not that easy to do, right?
Definitely.
I honestly,
you need to be able to flirt with the umpires.
Yeah,
and
I've quite a few times actually spoken with my coaches about me trying to become better at taking more time in between the rallies, and I don't think it's that easy actually, because I feel a little bit stressed sometimes that I need to get the rally started.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I have to do it. Like if I push the limits even further, the umpire will say something, or I will get a warning. So it's not that easy actually to control the pace of the game like he's doing, and like you're doing, and like other top players are doing. So it's more a skill than it's actually a negative.
And I think there's different reasons why players do it. I mean, maybe some players needs the break in order to be really focused when they start the next rally. Maybe they're under high pressure from the opponent playing a really physical game, or maybe it's just to kind of annoy the opponent. I mean, if you're an opponent who just wants
all
everything,
part of the game, right?
Yeah, it's part of the game, and it's reasonable to do. I mean, there are some players who just want the game to be really, really fast in between the rallies.
Janne
Jørgensen, our former colleague, and a good trick against an opponent like that is to really take out the pace of the game in between the rallies, because it's annoying for the opponent, and I mean, these are all little tricks in the game, and there are so many things like that going on in the game, and it is what it is.
And we're not really apologizing for anything, because it's first of all, as you said, it's not that you feel like you said anything negative, but what's also quite important for this podcast, if it's going to be interesting and something people want to see and listen to, it's like we need to be honest, and this is just what we feel like. It's kind of a basis for this podcast, that we can be honest about things. If not, it will not be very interesting to listen to in the long run. And
we spoke about this, and we were actually a little bit prepared for stuff like this. Hans Christian told me before we did the first episode whether I was ready to be critical on different topics, because I might get some hate for it. I mean, people will disagree, and people will dislike me or you, or so I mean, that's part of having an opinion and being willing to share it with other people, that everyone is not going to agree, and as you just mentioned, it's important for us to stay honest and just let people know our thoughts and our perspective on different things, and we will definitely keep doing that. Of course, we don't want to antagonize or insult anyone just on purpose, but I mean, we just want to be honest. I have different advisors, being scared to death about me having a podcast, and don't say something stupid, Anders, and don't get into trouble and stuff like that. And I will try not to, but at the same time, I will try to be as honest as possible and share my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that's also what adds a bit of personality to you and make you more also likable for the ones that then actually do support you. And I think also even the ones that maybe doesn't support you or me, they will at least get a little bit more respect out from the fact that we are being honest instead of just saying regular stuff that everyone says.
100%. There's enough of that out there.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
But another thing that's, our humor is different. We have a way of talking with each other, and we are being sarcastic a lot, and we have this type of humor that people in other countries might not really get, and words can get twisted and translated in the wrong way, and the media is a strong force, and it's very, very dangerous. Things can get twisted so easily, and
well, we can just see that even on social media, when you do a post where you're criticizing me or someone else on the national team, where it's all just, of course, in good spirits and it's just fun, we get so many comments on, are you serious, or what is this all about? And for us, it's so obvious that it's a joke, or it's we're not saying that what we said about Lin Dan is a joke, but it's just to show that there's such a big difference in terms of culture as well. So it makes no sense for us to try and please everyone, I guess, because it's not going to be possible anyway, right?
But hopefully over time, people will get to know us, and they will get to know how we talk with each other, and our way of having fun and stuff like that. So with that being said, we are going to piss people off. We're going to say a lot of
especially you,
a lot of stupid stuff. Now I think especially you. I'm the mature one here, even though you are like 30 years older than me or something like that. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into some questions, right?
But I have one more thing. I just want to be 100% sure.
Yeah.
Do you actually respect Lin Dan?
God damn it. I can clarify that one. I really, really respect Lin Dan. He is.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you think he's the GOAT? And before anyone gets offended, I'm not talking about the animal, the GOAT, but the greatest of all time.
Oh, god damn it. I know.
Because now you're going to offend people if you say
I'm
no.
going to offend people now. If I say Lin Dan, I will get all Malaysian people after me being angry that I didn't say Chong Wei. And if I say Chong Wei, I'll have a whole China after me. I think he is. Won the Olympics twice, 5-time world champion, and a bunch of. I guess he's won all the titles that there is to win, right?
Yeah, basically, I think he has, and 6 All England titles as well.
6 All England titles. That's absolutely insane.
It is.
And he's.
I have 1 semi-final.
Yeah, that I have 2. So.
All right, you're better than me.
Thanks. It's between him and Chong Wei, but I think in men's singles, right?
Yeah.
But I think because he has 2 Olympics and 5 world championship titles to his name, I think I will give it to him.
Okay, I'm actually a little surprised you say that Chong Wei is. So you're basically saying he's number 2 of all time.
I guess so.
I think that's what I would call recency bias.
Okay, explain that to me.
I think that's because he's been, for sure, the second best player in the past decade or the past 15 years. Mm-hmm. But I think it's because you don't know you don't remember well everyone back in the old days. I don't either, but I think there's so many guys that won a lot of the big titles back in the days that we just don't pay the same kind of attention to them because it's a lot of years ago. That's
right. Ever since I started to pay attention to badminton, Chong Wei and Lin Dan has always been the best 2. But I don't know about before them. That's right.
Yeah, but I would definitely say there's no discussion about Lin Dan on my side either. I think he is the best of all time. He's won all the big ones, and he's won it more than once in most of them as well. So
and he's kind of like a great character. He's
that as well.
He's being he was I don't know what his deal was, but some kind of ambassador for Dolce and Gabbana.
Yeah.
And he's just a cool character. He's dope, man.
He is one of my favorites too.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, definitely one of the favorite picture of all time is the one where he sits with the cat.
On his throne, right?
Some kind of throne and in a Dolce and Gabbana suit.
Yeah.
I mean, great photo.
Yeah. If you win one of the big ones, you need to do that as well.
I've actually given that a thought.
Yeah.
I mean,
but you need to win something.
I need to win something really big, or maybe claim the spot on the number one spot on the world ranking.
Yeah, all right. Then
I will set up a photo shoot with a cat and a Dolce and Gabbana shoot. And stay tuned for that, guys.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Okay, Hans. So guys, we got a lot of positive feedback after the first episode, and we appreciated that a lot. It seemed that you guys were really happy about me and Hans starting this podcast, and so thanks for that. First of all, we really want to engage with the fans and answer some of your questions, because there's been a lot of questions to me and Hans Christian, and that's perfect. Keep doing that. That's perfect, and it's going to be a recurring theme in the podcast.
That's a nice phrase.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you just come up with that?
I actually looked it up before the podcast how to say that, but recurring theme in the podcast, that if we have the time, we will try to answer some of your questions in every episode. Because we love to engage with you guys. And Hans Christian?
Yeah, I picked out a couple of good ones. The first one, he's asking if we can elaborate a little bit on the transition going from being a junior to a senior, also on the national team, but also just in general. I thought it was a pretty good question because a lot of players deal with that. But also because I think we both experienced it a little bit differently. I would say for me it wasn't easy going from a junior to a senior, because I was very successful as a junior. But for the first almost 2 years as a senior player, I actually never passed the second round of any international tournament. I always lost in the first or the second round. And that's quite the contrast from being one of the best players in Europe. Before that, I always won the Danish tournaments. I made the finals at least. I had a chance of winning the European Junior Championships as well. Ended up with a bronze, but I was always in the final stages of the events. And then all of a sudden, for 2 years straight, I couldn't even make it to a quarterfinal. So I really experienced that transition as being quite tough. Where for you, I think it's quite different.
Because of what? I mean, because of what were you? Where were you lacking? I mean.
Yeah, but I actually have I think I have a good answer to that, but I want to hear your story first, because I also think I know why it was more difficult for me compared to you. So I'll give you that answer right after you just describe what it was like for you to go from a junior to a senior.
It's not that many years ago. I mean,
no.
It's only a few years ago. I think I started to play senior tournaments back in 2015. I think I won my first senior tournament in Dutch. I think it's a Dutch International. A fun fact: Oliver behind the camera actually won it in men's double together with my brother. So
another fun fact: I actually won it twice.
I only won it once, so you win this one. Congratulations. No, how was the transition? I mean, I was evolving really, really quickly in those years, in 2015, 2016, when I was 18, 19 years old. So when I was a youth player, I was always a tiny kid, not very strong and not very tall, but around 17, 18, I really started to grow and started to gain some muscles and had a little bit more power in my play, and that was extremely important in order for me to be able to compete with the senior players. And I
actually remember that really well, because I remember when we started seeing you, I was obviously a senior when you started training at the National Center, and we started knowing about you. And I remember how we always thought that, but you can just keep him at the back line because he's pretty weak, and he won't have the power to go smash it on the floor, or
Yeah.
in the end of the matches he would get tired or something like that. So I honestly remember that was the thing we always thought that you were lacking.
But I think the most difficult part of a junior player going into the senior players tournaments is the lack of physique. I mean, you can see very, very skilled 15, 16 years old players, but it's difficult when you face a fully grown, more experienced, stronger player that's 28 years old. And badminton is a very physical sport, and
for sure.
I think that's the biggest or the most difficult transition is that you need a few years in order to catch up with the physical part. That's what I believe.
Yeah, but what I think is quite interesting is that I actually believe that the reason why it was difficult for me was that I was lacking the understanding of the game. And I think you had that. And as you say, you started developing your physique when you were 17, 18 years old. But you already had a very good mind. You already understood your game. And I think you also said that before, it's also down to the fact that you were always a small guy. So you needed to be clever on court. You needed to understand how to set up the points. The difference maker for me as a junior was always that I could play at a very high pace and I was very strong. I was very fast. When I became a senior player, it wasn't really a difference maker anymore because everyone I played was older, they were stronger, they were faster than me. So I didn't really have that thing that really made a difference. I played a very attacking game, a high-paced game when I was a junior. So I didn't really have anything special when I became a senior. And I think it was a little easier for you because you already had that. You already knew how to set up your points. And as soon as you started growing more in terms of your power and your physique, it became a little bit easier for you. So that's why it's been really difficult for me, that I needed to understand the game better. I needed to learn my own strengths. I needed to develop on my game as well. Of course, you need to do that too, but I think I needed to do it even more. I needed to find new ways to set up my points compared to what I had to do in juniors.
And that might be even more difficult when you are older. You kind of, have to reinvent yourself on the court. I mean, getting more muscles and getting in better shape is, it's easier. It should be.
It is pretty simple, right? Yeah, it takes time. It's not something you can fix in a week.
Of course, it's physically and mentally tough, but it's quite straightforward. And
it's not complex in any way. If you get a program that's done for you, then it should.
I always thought back in the days I was really frustrated in the junior years that I was a tiny kid. But looking back at it, it's actually been a blessing because I was forced to develop other aspects of my game, like the tactical stuff and the mental stuff, and I learned how to be a fighter because that was the only way that I could win some of my matches. Just try to get everything back. So I learned really much from being tiny, and I actually sometimes talk with different youth players that is quite frustrated that they are in that position. So hopefully I can be an example that
but I think we're actually
something possible.
I think we're both pretty good examples of what it takes then to be successful at this level, and that's patience. Because for you it was patience when you were younger. You needed to have patience until your physique actually evolved. And when I became a senior, I needed just to have patience until I found out what way I needed to play, how I needed to set up the points and so on. So even if you're one of the best in the juniors or you're not one of the best, if you know how to train, if you surround yourself with the right people, if you work hard enough and if you work smart enough, if you are patient enough, then you will be successful in the end at some point.
I 100% agree. Yeah, that was very great, Hans.
Perfect. Also, I actually didn't rehearse it. It just came up. It
was amazing. I went somewhere. I was like, wow.
That's what the badminton experience is all about, right?
That's what it does to you.
Exactly. So, Anders, let's move on to the next question that I picked for today. Someone asked about if we could elaborate on the players that we both idolized and helped mold your gameplay, mold or shape your gameplay.
Yeah.
And I actually don't know if you really idolized anyone, so I'm also curious, and that's why I chose it.
As mentioned earlier in the podcast, I've obviously seen Lin Dan and Chong Wei play a bunch of matches, and those games were always very, very inspiring. So I would definitely say those two. And then Peter G.O.A.T.
Yeah.
I always mention Taufik Hidayat.
Yeah.
But I actually haven't seen him that much.
Okay.
I mean, I know his style, and I have seen him a lot, but not as much as the other three. I would also say Jan O. In Danish we say Jan Ø Jørgensen, but in English it's Jan O Jorgensen. And I've seen you, and I've seen Victor. I mean, I don't really have one or two that I say those are my idols, and those help me shape my type of badminton. So it's a difficult question. I mean, I've taken inspiration from so many players, and it can be down to very, very little details, like Hu Yun, the player from Hong Kong. Like his one stroke he uses on the net. It could be down to details like that. I also feel like I can't really I can't really point at one player and say I look like that guy.
Yeah, I play like this because of that guy.
Yeah. So I can't really mention one or two. What about you?
Yeah, for me it's always it's always been hard for me to say that I have an idol as well. I think I've always been very attack-minded in my game, and because of that, I always enjoyed more when I watched players that did the same. And like an early memory I have of one guy that I found really cool, and I think it's a quite surprising choice, and I'm not sure you even know who it is, but an Indonesian guy called Irwansyah or Irwansyah. I watched him in the Denmark Open when it was played in Farum Arena, so actually quite close to where we are now. I took some time out of school to go there and watch it with a couple of my classmates. I think we skipped some Spanish and German classes to go there, and I had never heard about this guy, Irwansyah, but went there, watched him play, and I just really loved his playing style because he was all about smash and net and kill. That was all he cared about, and every chance he had, he just smashed it full power and then went for
quite simple.
Very simple gameplay.
Type of gameplay, yeah.
But he was so I just loved him, and he was like his shoulders were this broad, and he was very slim on his legs, and he just looked so cool. And I actually, a few years later, I was coached by him in Wales when I visited one of my Welsh friends, a guy called Raj Puppet. Because Irwansyah went to Wales to be the national coach there for a few years. He's now the assistant men's singles coach in PBSI in Indonesia. Okay. So you've actually seen him coach in the last few years. But when I then got coached by him in Wales, he gave me a T-shirt with his name on the back, and that was a big deal for me.
Huge.
So yeah, I would say him, and if I had to choose someone more.
Was it because of his way of playing badminton, or the way he looked, or what was
the way he played badminton? I thought it was so nice that he was just all about attacking, and at that time I was still that as well. I didn't really think about defense. When I got a lift, I hit a smash or an attack. So, and that's also why I say that if I had to choose someone a little more famous, I always liked to watch Chen Hong from China. If you remember him.
Yeah, I do. I remember the name.
Yeah. He also had a lot of battles with G.O.A.T. Back in the days.
Former coach back in Aarhus, Cham, as he calls himself. He always
huge legend, guys.
Huge legend. He always brags about. He always mentioned that he used to coach Ching Hong back in the days when was living in China.
And I think he did a pretty good job because Chen Hong obviously, like, he was also very attack minded, but of course he was a bit more sophisticated as a player compared to a guy like Vansha, and that's why he won a lot of events and have huge results. But he was still, again, very attack minded. I think he was trying to hit smash winners from impossible positions, and that's why I enjoyed watching him. And I think I also enjoyed it a little bit extra because it was maybe seen as a little bit uncool to support one of the Chinese players.
Okay.
So I wanted to do that because no one else was supporting the Chinese players. If you were from Denmark, you were either supporting Peter G.O.A.T or Paul Erik or Thomas Sture or Peter Rasmussen. We had so many guys at that time, right?
So if Chen Hong was to face Peter G.O.A.T, or you cheered for Chen Hong?
I actually would do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hope that Peter is not watching this episode of the Badminton Experience.
If we are ever gonna have him on as a guest, I think you should ask him to come on, not me.
Yeah, that would be great. By the way, guys, we are going to invite guests to, I wouldn't call it a studio, but to the podcast.
When we get a studio,
we
will
get a
also
studio,
ask them there.
Yeah.
And we even have plans of a screen here, right? So we can also have guests that are not on location.
We have so many plans. So hopefully the channel will grow over time, and we can afford a nice studio and LED lights and all sorts of decoration to the studio.
It's gonna be amazing.
So that was your two choices.
That were my two choices. Now my screen is actually blank.
Chen Hong and say the name again.
Yavansha.
Yavansha.
Yeah, or Yavansaya, we would say that in Danish English, but I think in Indonesia they say Yavansha.
I will look him up after the episode. I would love to see who it is.
I'm actually not sure if there's anything on YouTube of him playing because he didn't really make it to the later stages in the events. I think he was like what you would call a fringe player on the Indonesian national team. So he was one of the guys that they only sent out for a few events. But I know he played our coach Kenneth Jonassen in a few international events, but lost. But he's a really, really friendly and nice guy. You should.
And that's also very, very important.
It is.
And that's
you
one
should
thing.
go talk to him at the next event.
That's one thing that you didn't learn from him.
That's very harsh.
No, I'm kidding. That's one thing that you definitely learned from him.
Oh, thanks.
That was sarcastic, guys. I hope that you got the joke. I actually saw. I saw one of the questions.
Yeah.
On our YouTube channel. My YouTube channel. When was the first time you met Hans Christian, and how did you became such good friends?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure when was the first time we actually spoke to each other. I think the first time I noticed you was at a Denmark Challenge, International Challenge event in Frederikshavn, the city where I'm born, in the northern part of Jutland, northern part of Denmark.
Yeah.
You were like 14, 15 at the time.
16.
Yeah, 16. But you look like someone who was 12.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Did you play the tournament?
I played the tournament, lost the final to our friend Jan Ø. Jørgensen.
Yes!
Yeah.
How done, Jan?
2011 first Olympic qualifying event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the first time I remember seeing you, and then of course I remember beating you in a team match in Skalskør.
Yeah. That was our first encounter. I lost 21-18 in the deciding game to Hans Christian Wissinghus. I was how old? 18?
I don't know, but I was toying with you. It was a bit like what we just saw with Belgium, that we felt like they maybe didn't play 100%. It was like that for me in this match.
Okay.
I played like 80, 90%.
But you got robbed on the back line.
I definitely got robbed. I think Hans Christian paid one of the line judges to cheat.
I didn't even have to pay him.
Well, yeah, because you were on home court.
Exactly.
On home soil. So I got robbed. That was our first encounter. I can't even remember when we first spoke. Around that time.
Yeah, probably. I think that's also around the time where you started training in the national team.
And that's also like 5 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
And then we have... I was actually on Hans Christian's honeymoon.
That's true.
We have been on vacation together, and we have traveled the world together, played a lot of badminton, and now we have been colleagues on the training for 5 years almost. So we got to know each other. I wouldn't say that we are really, really good friends.
I agree. It's not even fun because it's just the truth.
Yeah,
we're only doing this for business purposes.
Yeah, 100%. So that's our story, and now you know if I hope it was like just a little bit interesting.
That's actually, I was just thinking it's a pretty boring story actually. But I think the part about you being on my honeymoon was quite good.
It was an amazing trip. We were in Dubai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were there like six guys and my wife, and it sounds really bad and wrong, but after 1 week, me and my wife went to the Maldives alone.
So Hans, it's 10:15 here in Denmark.
Yeah, we should
have
wrap
been
it up.
practicing today, and we just watched the football team. They lost. It's been a tough day, and it's extremely warm here.
We also been on for like 41 minutes.
So I think we need to head to bed, and we have a tough practice tomorrow morning. I have a tough practice tomorrow morning.
I actually don't really have to do anything besides feeding you in a multi shuttle program.
Yeah, but I have a tough.
I need to go to the gym as well.
Yeah,
and then I'm on 1 week holiday.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you in a few weeks. Your kid Vincent has been sick, right?
No, not in the past few weeks. But my wife has been in quarantine, and it has been given a little bit of trouble in terms of getting someone to watch him in the afternoons.
So that's the reason why you skipped a few practice sessions?
I've been for most practice sessions, so I'm not sure what you're rambling about.
So Hans Christian has been on vacation for the previous few weeks, and he will take one more week of vacation next week. Yeah.
I also don't have any events for a few months.
We need to get you back in shape, Hans.
Yeah,
true.
But
Hans, you did the introduction, and I think you should do the outro as well. I'm tired. I don't have any energy left in me, and so.
Thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it again today. Please leave some comments to give us feedback about the setup, the topics. Keep the questions flowing as well, and we need a name for our mascot. The Badminton Bear, I don't know, maybe that's a suggestion, but I'm sure you can come up with something nicer. We promise to be back with an episode before the Olympics, so questions about the Olympics are more than welcome.
I think the next episode will be dedicated to the Olympics.
It will, for sure. Yeah, and please don't interrupt me the next time I'm
Sorry about that.
Guys,
should I just leave the studio while you round it off?
Go to bed.
Okay,
go to bed. Yeah.
See you guys. Hans Christian will.
Take care.